Gosh, everyone's thinking about that four-letter word.
Yes, we are talking about snow. And yes, I do think it is a potential for
Sure.
us.
All right.
But how much is actually going to be falling and how much is going to be sticking around for how long? That is the big question. So a KOIN 6 weather alert, it is in place starting tonight, and it's going to carry us through much of this week. Our first real taste of winter weather, as a few brief snow showers are a possibility, especially as we move our way through the overnight and early morning hours. Now, as far as the road impacts go, I think that's really going to be next to none unless you go up in elevation, say above about 1,000 feet, which excludes much of the Portland, Vancouver areas. Our temperatures right now very chilly, down by about 10 degrees compared to where we should be for this time of year. Low to mid 40s found across our area right now as the scattered rain showers haven't managed to fill up the bucket to 1/100th of an inch here in the Rose City, more than 1/4 of an inch for the central Willamette Valley, and about 1/10 of an inch for some of our coastal communities. But these numbers are going to transition from rain back over to snow for many spots, as the blue is a good indication of where our current snow activity is currently falling. As we zoom into the Portland, Vancouver metro area, you'll notice it's just those on and off again rain showers. Now, the pattern that we are currently seeing is going to just be much of the same, but then transition from rain showers over to snow flurries, very similar to what we've seen transpire up in Elevation Government Camp. Definitely starting to look like a winter wonderland, a sight for sore eyes, a sight that we haven't necessarily seen for the high elevations of the Cascades. And it's not only the Cascades, but much of western Oregon, excluding the Willamette Valley, the Portland, Vancouver area not in this, but the Coast Range falling under a winter weather advisory. For some of us, this is the first winter weather advisory we have seen all season long. It happens now all the way through early Friday morning before we start to see a bit of a warming trend. But as far as our snow forecast totals go, for the Cascades, we're talking about maybe a foot to almost 2 feet for Mount Hood. Greater amounts possible for the Oregon Cascades as opposed to, say, Washington's Cascades, but nonetheless a good sight to see, as a low pressure system is the culprit, and really where the center of the low falls here along the Oregon and Washington coastline is going to be the determining factor of who sees a little bit more snow and who sees a little bit less. But it does start to clear by the week's end. So at least for Portland, we're talking about the chance for a few snowflakes, and I think that's all it's going to be. Not necessarily no flurries at all, but it will maybe cause a light dusting to transpire and then quickly melt just as soon as it moves its way into our area. So you can see some of the blue, the pinks, the wintry mix possible for parts of the Portland, Vancouver area just after midnight or so. That's a snapshot of about 3 o'clock in the morning. By 8 a.m., our early morning commute, maybe some tricky travel through the central Willamette Valley. Again, for the Portland, Vancouver area, I think it's really going to be hit and miss, maybe a light dusting on the roads, and then it quickly melts away before everything transitions back over to rain by the afternoon hours. We do it all over again for Wednesday morning's commute, so it's really going to be that early morning time frame that might be tricky for some of us as snow elevation levels fall back to, I'd say, about 700 feet. So that's about the Sylvan Hills area all the way through Friday before we start to see improvement. So here's a good friendly reminder of where your elevations are on the right side and how low we expect to go by Wednesday morning, down to about 300 feet. Now, although Portland, Vancouver is anywhere from 0 to 30 feet, 1 or 2 of those snowflakes could survive that warm layer near the surface and leave a light dusting. So take these maps with a grain of salt. These are all of our differing weather models. I extended all the way through about Wednesday night. What you see piled up here isn't going to be sticking around. If anything, it's going to be that brief snow shower, light dusting that then quickly melts on contact. Although I think we maybe could keep some of those grassier spots a little bit more snow covered up in elevation, say for the Portland West Hills, a little bit longer than the rest of our area, but really no major impacts for our roadways. That is the good news. For looking at the rest of this week, maybe having the ice melt, if you're a small business owner, maybe throwing that out on the sidewalks is going to be a good idea. Also, keeping that umbrella close at hand and maybe a push broom for your windshield, also a possibility. So tonight, again, that wintry mix of possibilities. We fall back into the mid-30s, and we do have those KOIN 6 weather alerts in place tonight, carrying us all the way through Friday. Although I think by Friday afternoon, Friday evening, temperatures will warm enough that that threat really starts to subside. And you'll notice during the afternoon hours, we're back up into the mid-40s. So again, anything that does transpire is quickly going to be melting. It's just that time frame from about 3 a.m. to, I'd say, about 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, where maybe some school delays are are a possibility. Maybe some school closures. We're talking primarily out towards like the Gresham area. The higher elevated spots could have that potential. So everyone just needs to stay weather aware over the next several days. I see this as a low impact system, but a system nonetheless that brings back a snowflake or two for Portland.
Yep, folks, time to download the PDX weather app. I'll be depending on it because depending on what it looks like in the morning, you might be on pickup duty. Todd knows that if it snows.
Todd knows. He's like, I don't do that.
We'll see. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Josh.
The battle.